Yesterday, the White House announced its Open Government Directive, President Obama's plan to make transparency, accountability, and participation the new pillars of democracy. Will the directive allow citizens to see through all those granite walls in Washington? Let's ask John Wonderlich, Policy Director at the Sunlight Foundation, which has been pressuring Washington to become more transparent and accountable. He joins us via Skype. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Is this a big deal?
Yes. We're very excited. We think President Obama has announced a very bold plan. It's ambitious, and we're very excited to see it.
Give me an example of how you at the Sunlight Foundation will use it.
So this directive is going to force agencies to start releasing more information. And after the announcement yesterday, we were able to already find a number of different new data sets that they're releasing online that are going to help to change the way the government operates and hopefully even empower commerce throughout the country. One specific thing that was released yesterday is the data about how the government releases information from FOIA requests. They used to do reports.
FOIA is Freedom of Information requests that citizens, usually news organizations, can file to get at government documents and data, correct?
That's right, yes. And so the government is required to release reports once a year about how well the government is responding to these FOIA, to these Freedom of Information requests. And up to now, they've released those results in a document. And some things belong well and are published well in a document form, and some things, when it's data, it becomes a lot less useful when it's published in a PDF or in a document form because it's a spreadsheet. So what they started doing yesterday was releasing all of the information about how the government handles these information requests in a data form, which makes it much more useful so that people can see how they're responding to the requests.
So that's transparent information about the transparency of information,
yeah.
The Freedom of Information Act. Can you give us a concrete example of data about something and how ordinary Americans might use it or learn from it?
Sure. So one that we'd love to see them start releasing better, there's a database called FARA, which stands for the Foreign Agents Registration Act. And that's the law that requires people who lobby on behalf of foreign entities, so maybe the Chinese government or maybe a nonprofit located in South America, any foreign entity that lobbies Congress or the federal government on behalf of this foreign entity, they have to register with the Department of Justice. And very few people know about this, and even the reporters that know about it have to dig through files that are very difficult to read. If that information were online, I think a lot of American people would be interested in seeing what foreign entities are doing with our government.
And so if a citizen journalist or a professional journalist or anyone else wanted to actually look at that data under this new transparency directive from the White House, how would we do it?
Well, we don't know if we're going to be able to anytime soon. We don't know if this will be one of the new data sets that's been chosen. Right now, what we know is that the administration is saying to agencies, not only did we talk about this early on, and not only do we have broad pronouncements about the value of transparency, now the president is saying to all the agencies that answer to him, this is a real commitment, and here are some deadlines for things that you have to do. And one of the first things agencies have to do is identify 3 high-value data sets. So collections of information that will have a lot of value for the public, and put them online. I believe it's within 45 days. And this is a pretty aggressive goal to set for agencies to try to live up to. So for the next month and a half, we're going to be watching closely to see what agencies come up with.
And then when they're online, in what form will they be put online, and who's going to do this?
So there will be people at each agency set up to be responsible for posting the information online. And when they put it online, they're also required to register the data on the new website called data.gov, which is a central place for people, and especially for computer developers, to find where government data is located online, and to have a central place where they can access it.
Later in the program, we're going to do some data visualization. We're going to look at a beautiful data visualization tool showing very visually affordable housing in New York, neighborhood by neighborhood. Do you think that these government agencies in Washington might release very visual data, user-friendly data, appealing data, or are we going to see it as we usually see government data from Washington in absolutely boring gray, document charts?
Sure. Well, I think a lot of the first step that they make is going to be as boring as it gets. It's going to be, well, for most people, at the Sunlight Foundation, this excites us. They're going to release spreadsheets and enormous databases and things like tarballs or JSON or things that just sound crazy. But by releasing that data, it enables people to do exciting things like put together the map you're talking about that says, here are different neighborhoods and here's how much it costs to live in each one. Or something they did in the UK, My Society put together, an organization called My Society, put together a map where you can say, show me all the areas where it takes less than 30 minutes to commute to this other place, and now show me all the places within that area where I can buy a home for under a certain price. And this is a really useful kind of tool. So those sexier applications are only possible because the boring data is released.
All right. We will be looking for what federal agencies come out with in the next 45 days. Looks like President Obama is trying to keep his promise about a new level of transparency in government. Thank you very much.
Very happy to be here. Thank you.
And coming up, socially networking your way into the arms of the law. It's Brian Lehrer Live.